All right. Hey guys, welcome back as always. This is Kit here of Burn One, the Shadowverse Evolved channel. New set coming out means new meta, means new set review. And here we are. Once again, I'm joined here with Shepard. Want to say hi?
That's right. Still here. The haters, they couldn't drive me away. I'm back again.
Exactly. But this time, as some of you might have noticed, I kind of hinted that we're going to have a special guest here. If our special guest wants to introduce themselves.
Hey, Ignitius here, Shadowverse Evolve. I play it a lot. This is not an ambassador activity, so I don't know if I can say that. What my title is. So I'll just say I'm a Shadowverse Evolve fan.
Yeah, and you have many, many years of the digital game under your belt as well, right?
Yeah, I have a. You can Google it, Ignitius. I did a lot of Shadowverse in my time. So.
Yeah. If people want to check him out, if you're actually not aware of one of the ambassadors, I will include a link to his channel as well in the description below, so you can go check him out after that. But we'll get right into the set review here. As always, for the people that are new, we do a rating system here. The rating system is on the screen now. We go through S to F, S being like this card is busted, basically, all the way to F where the card is not impactful at all and probably won't see any play in the meta. We'll just hop right into our first card here. I feel like I'm going to already mess up this guy's name. Is Garyu, I believe, Supreme Dragonkin. It's a 5-drop,
right.
5-drop 3/4. It evolves for 1, and then while this card is on the field, your other Dragoncraft followers gain ward, and then Fanfare, draw a card. On the evolve side, it's while this card is on the field, same thing. Your Dragoncraft followers will have ward. The on evolve is you may put a Dragoncraft follower that originally costs 5 or less play points from your hand onto the field, and its traits are Arena and Dragon Newt. So this card, for me, it reads very well because it lets Dragon build like a somewhat wide board. I just haven't played enough Dragon outside of like playing PDK in the recent sets to really know exactly where this card fits in exactly. But it seems like a very, very powerful card just because once you play it on 5, it at least replaces itself coming in with the draw, and it has a relatively strong evolve effect, I think, for Dragon, because I think one of the things Dragon lacks in some of the ramp strategies is that it can't really build a wide board. It's mostly like, here's one big boss monster after another after ramping a little bit, and this can help you build a somewhat wider board and like get something cool out, like Shenlong, I believe, is 5, right, or less. So
yeah, but it's not great with Shenlong because you can't evolve Shenlong and this on the same turn.
Yeah,
but there are like clear other targets for Garyu. Actually, in this very set, if you scroll down a little bit, Jadelong Tactician specifically works with Garyu Supreme Dragonkin, so it works really, really well with him. And also alongside that, you can also pull out Forte is an okay option, and so is Electromagical Rhino. One thing I don't really love about Garyu is that it doesn't really fix Dragons, going first, nothing to play on 5 problem that they often have, which is why some people now are even playing Electromagical Rhino in the first place, where this can work well with it, but it's not like a good option for that slot in general. I still think it's all right, though. It's got its place. I don't think it's amazing, though. Like, if B is being rated as should always be considered for the craft, I think it's a notch below that. I'd probably put it at C.
Yeah, I would put this, like, this happens every set where cards like this come out, where I think this is a strong enough card to play. I think the problem is primarily that the other options you have, like the other Dragon strategies available, are just way more powerful than this. Like, I would so much rather be running the Disdain package than trying to get value out of this card.
Yeah, I can see that totally. I think you guys both bring up some pretty strong points. I think unless anyone has anything else really worth talking about this card, we can just go ahead and slam our ratings in here.
Sure thing. I'm gonna give it a C+. Because I feel like B saying that it should always be considered for the craft is a little too strong. But C, it should C play. It's all right, and it's got some fun little options you can use for it. But I don't think it's amazing, so I'll give it a C+. C seems too harsh.
It's funny, I agree with every word you said, but I think I'm going to give it a B- just because I think it's powerful enough. I'm scared to give it a C. Like, I think you can bring it. I just think the problem with bringing it is there are just better options. But I think it is like of a power level that it's going to beat a lot of mid-tier strategies if you bring a Garyu Dragon deck.
Yeah, I can totally see that. I'm kind of more towards the Igni side. I'll go ahead and give it a C+ as well. I do think this card is like relatively strong enough to be like, hey, like if this fits in your deck, it's worth considering. But outside of that, I don't think it's like going to really warp anything really as far as that goes. But I'm not
one of those
so
things
sold.
where
Go ahead.
Like the options in your hand that make it good. Like if you don't draw those, and it's just like a really underwhelming guy. And does Dragon have enough filtering to make it super consistent in the mid game as a play that you can always have on hand? Because if you do Oracle on 2, you are minusing yourself 1 as well. So it's like, okay, how do I make up for that for my Gardew turn when I actually
you
need
just-
to get it off? So
You play it and then you top deck it every time.
yeah, with the fanfare, of course. No, you're so right, Shepard.
Oh, like a true dragon warrior, you just top deck what you need when you need it. But yeah, that's a really good point. There's not a lot of really good tools to search out specific cards in Dragon, so you're kind of always a slave to your top deck as well. So that's a really good point. Moving on here, Igni.
Okay, White Frost, Dragonood, Phylene. Fanfare, select an enemy follower on the field and engage it. It does not refresh at the start of its controller's next turn. If Overflow is active for you, search your deck for the White Frost Whisper and put it into your EX area. Card is nuts, and it's nuts for a very, very long time. Not only is it a great stat line at 1/1/3, it controls the board, and on Overflow, it thins your deck for a really efficient removal spell that combos well with the first Fanfare effect as well. Shepard already put an S in there. I will agree. It is an S.
Yeah, absolutely.
This card's busted. Like, it's so funny that part of what makes Disdain so much better this set than in set 5, it's a card that has nothing to do with Disdain. It's just it just boosts the power level of the craft so much having access to this.
You just play it in
on
everything.
top of
It's
that,
like so good.
Yeah, the whole craft gets better for having this card. And the nuts part is they actually gave it a stat line. Like 1/3 is an annoying stat line for this to have.
It's enormous, and it works with PDK, and like it just works with everything in the entire class. So it's like, yeah clear S.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree all around. And then I guess Shepard, you want to talk about the White Frost Whisper here?
Yeah, so this is the card it searches out. 2-drop spell. Not quick because they learned to make dragon cards slow. It took them 5 sets, but they got there. And it has, if Overflow is active for you, this card costs 1 less to play, and then you select an engaged enemy follower on the field and you destroy it. But if you have the Dragon Newt that we were just looking at, you do 2 damage to the leader.
Yeah, it's fantastic. I think usually the ratios are like 3 Phylene, 2 White Frost Whisper, something like that. I mean, I want to give it an S, but I think I don't know, maybe like an A++ or something. It's like
that's the thing with this card is
Yeah.
like it's hard to give it a different grade because you always play these 2 together.
right, exactly.
Yeah.
But the thing is, like, in terms of which card is worse, like the rate on this card is not insane if you're not consistently getting like the draw effect to get it out and having that extra 2 damage to the leader. So yeah, I guess A+ is a good way to go. So just to signify, hey, this is part of why that last card was good, but it's not as good as the card that searched.
Yeah, one of the things too to keep in mind is that this other card does enable this card because it forces something to be engaged, so something your opponent might try to protect. But this on its own can't target it unless they've engaged it themselves.
Yeah, that's important to note. Also, like I mentioned, it's not quick, so without the other card, they have to have already gotten some value. They have to have gotten a swing or an activation in.
I think it is good though.
It definitely
also,
is.
Adding more face damage, like even 2 damage is so much in this game, especially for Dragon. And if you're
especially in Galmu,
like,
because a lot of the time you're just missing that like last little bit to push you over the edge.
Yeah,
exactly. You do like 9 damage with your Galmu on that turn, and you're like, okay, you're at 4 health. Okay, well, White Frost Whisper plus, or whatever. Forte Evolve plus White Frost Whisper, like that's also an option, right? Like it's so much like damage thresholds you can leap over with the addition of this card.
I mean, how many sets in a row now have like a lot of your dragon losses been there at 2 to 5 life, right? And this just turns those into wins.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, next card here. Phoenix Empress. It's a 5-drop 5/3. Rush, last word. Decrease your maximum play points by 1. Put this card into your field engaged. The trade is
womp,
Phoenix.
Womp.
Pretty much. Losing the thing for the last word, it's like you almost are never going to use it unless you're like already at like what, turn 10 basically with the 10.
This card has like no synergy with anything. Like Like, what are you supposed to get this out with Guardian and then lose a play point? That feels so bad. Doesn't have a sail, doesn't have Bane, only a 3 defense stat line, and you decrease your play points, and it comes back. It doesn't even have the gall to come back standing. They can just target it again with another thing and force you to lose another play point.
Its health total
like
too just like loses to a lot of random things too. Like a snipe removes this easily, and you're just
yeah,
like, well,
or like
I got blown up by 2 play points.
Spine blade, right?
Yes.
Usurping spine blade would just get.
And
yeah,
it's
really
funny because I think the gimmick is that it comes back engaged, but then it's supposed to have ward from Garyu, but then it's a 5/3 ward. Like it doesn't even block anything substantial.
Yeah, I really don't like it, which is a shame because the art is gorgeous, but it's like, damn, they really did her dirty.
Yeah. All right, hopping along.
Okay, shall I read this one?
Yeah.
Worm God of Disguise. This card can't be played from anywhere other than your hand. Okay. Evolve 1. Evolve this follower. Activate 2 play points. Put this card in your EX area. In your cemetery. So from the EX area, you put it into your cemetery.
Yeah, so you can only do this when it's in the EX area.
Right. Select a follower on the field. Give it +4/+4. It can't attack this turn. And then on evolve, it gets the last words put into your EX area and give your leader +3. So basically, you play it. It's just a guy. Then you have to evolve it for the effect to go into your EX. And then from the EX, you have to pay to give stats. And then that thing that you gave stats to can attack. It's a lot of work for like very little payoff, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Is the translation of this correct? Is it select a follower or is it select another follower? Like it can give itself the +4/+4.
No, it's like, yeah, you have to give it to another follower.
It has to be a different follower.
Yeah. It does say other follower.
Yeah, because you put it from the EX to your cemetery and then buff another follower on your field. This card's like gone. And then
I think the worst
that thing can't attack
defender,
is the problem.
The actual thing I think makes us bad is that the last words is only on the Evo side.
Mm-hmm.
So there's nowhere you can just play it and then get value. Like you have to Evo it immediately, otherwise it's just gone.
Otherwise, it's just a guy that does nothing, right?
It's just a 4/4 with no text for 4.
And you have to make space in your Evo deck for this too, just to get the value out of it.
Yeah.
And then the value is that you get to pay to give stats to a thing that can't attack. It just seems really, really bad in my opinion.
Yeah.
And it doesn't even really work with Guardian either, right? Because even though it can only be played from your hand, like if you bring out the Guardian, you can't evolve it because you evolve the Guardian to bring it out. So it doesn't even work with that.
I don't know what they were on this one. Like you said, you have to jump through like so many hoops to get a payoff that does not feel good at all.
I always feel weird giving something an F because like, what if somebody comes in and cooks with it and then I get a comment a year later that's like, ha! You buffoon! But
I love that.
Thank you. You say thank you for the engagement.
Yeah.
Thanks for the algo boost, bro.
But yeah, I think in my instinct, it's got to be an F, man. This card is, I don't know what they're thinking with this one.
It's hard because, like I've said this before, but Shadowverse Evolved like baits you when you first read the cards that you think it's Magic, like Magic the Gathering, but then it's actually Yu-Gi-Oh! And so like you read cards that have stats and you're like, oh, I put this on the board and it has stats, but it's like it doesn't matter. Like this being a 4/4 doesn't matter. It just costs too much. It doesn't do anything. It's not winning you the game. Yeah, this card's horrible. I'm happy giving it an F.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, moving on here. Shepherd.
Yeah, sorry. I hate bad cards in this game because they don't print a lot of cards, you know? Like if they printed more cards, I feel like if they came out with 800 cards a year, I'd be like, all right, you can have some bad cards in there. But they give us like 10 cards per graph per set.
Yeah.
All right, Ice Dancing Dragon Newt. This is a 2-cost follower. It has Evo for 1, as well as Fanfare. If you have Overflow, it gets +1 attack and Storm. And the evolve size says this follower ignores Ward. It starts as a 2/2, and it grows to a 3/3 on the Evo.
I just think this follower, I'm going to give it a D, because I think it is niche enough that you can play it in like aggro PDK lists, which aren't great at the moment because Marwyn exists, but whatever. But it is so little value in one card where like it feels like to play this often, it just feels like you're minusing your hand. And if you want to get the full value of ignoring the ward, you have to like make space in your evolve deck for this, which I don't think you ever do really. So I don't think it's like unplayable like the Phoenix Empress and the other one were, but you could play it in like aggro PDK, but I think it's like one of your last options, honestly.
Yeah.
I mean,
like
this card's just too late. Like, I think this card's just too late. The game's too powerful now. this is just not something you really want. Like
Yeah.
maybe
Mhm.
Armor Dragon 2 sets ago would have killed for this card. It doesn't justify its slot, but I don't think it's as bad as the others. I'm with you on D.
Yeah, I'm in there on D as well, and like in a craft where you have access to Forte in your Evo deck, like that is
Yeah.
obviously way better than this. It does probably have a niche in like PDK or something, and if it wasn't for the Evo side of it, like costing Evo slots, unlike the digital game where everything Evos, this could probably see like some really cool play, but because it takes Evo slots, unless you're like a super low to the ground deck, it just probably just doesn't get you there ever. And then, like I
I
said,
mean, I'd
Forte.
rather play Neptune and PDK for this.
Yeah,
Honestly, you
exactly.
get 2 guys with Storm, and you get 2 procs with PDK, and you get
Yeah.
a bigger body that can trade that turn. Like,
I,
it's a little
I
bit
think
more
a big
value.
thing is that we've reached the point with PDK where like I don't think obviously I think Marwin's just the best strategy and you can sometimes play PDK and Marwin, but I don't think PDK is hungry for slots. Like I think there's enough 2-drops that you get to be selective and you should pick other things.
Mm-hmm.
All right,
Okay,
moving on
moving
here. Jade Long Tactician. This is the 5-drop 3/5. Has Storm Strike. Select another follower on your field and give it +1/+1. If you select Garyu Supreme Dragon King, give it +2/+2 instead. And Dragonheart is the trait. I mean, this was obviously printed together for Garyu. Card seems pretty all right if you're playing like that entire strategy, but I think outside of that, it's like I don't really love this card too much. What do you guys
Just
think?
say with your whole chest. Outside of Garyu, it's mid. Maybe even worse.
Oh,
than
mid is giving it a lot of credit there outside of Garyu.
I don't even think it's really the best option out of Garyu. I think with Garyu, I'd rather get like Electro Magical Rhino or something. It's got bigger stats.
Yeah, better high
It's
roll
got the
as well.
option. It's got the potential for the high roll. You can get Forte out of Garyu with instead as well. It's not great, but it's something. I don't know. I don't think it's unplayable, and it is cool to combo with Garyu.
Yeah,
But I would still give it like a D, honestly.
yeah,
I'm not
exactly.
loving it.
Yeah, I don't know. I was like confused because looking through the JP tops, I did some prep and like people played it, but there was so little Garyu. And then the best Garyu deck I saw wasn't on the Aether Princess. It was just like I'm gonna magical Rhino you.
Yep.
So I don't know. Maybe it's one of those like bias things where the ones that we see that played this card that come over because they top 8'd and got posted on Twitter. That's just the day that they happen to draw the 2 cards together 3 times, you know?
Yeah,
This card's just so abysmal if you just draw it.
Yeah, if you just draw it and you have no Garyu, it's like, okay, I played
Yeah.
Forte at home, Wish.com Forte. It's like, okay.
It's also in the crap with the least amount of draw and selection too.
Yeah.
yep,
It's not
Well.
like Sword, Romeo and Juliet, where you can at least tutor one half of it.
yeah. All right, next card here, Igni.
All right.
Aquascale Stalwart has Ward 1/4 for 2. Fanfare of Overflow is active for you. Look at the top 5 cards of your deck. From among them, you may reveal a dragon follower that costs at least 5 play points and add it to your hand. Put the remaining cards on the bottom of your deck in any order.
Ooh, support for Garyu.
Yeah, you get your Garwu.
I still don't love it though. Okay, first of all, the filtering is conditional only on Overflow, so at like it's quite like in the late stages of the game at that point, and you're playing something with a really low stat line for that. And I feel like Dragon plays enough low to the ground cards that this has a pretty good chance to whiff a lot of the time. Especially since it's also only Dragoncraft followers. So if you're playing like a more controlled neutral build with like Israfil's, Olivia's, Bahamut, and all that, you could still get a high cost guy and then whiff anyway. So I don't know. I'm not super hot on it, but maybe you guys have a different opinion.
I think one like standout thing about this is that even playing this on curve actually doesn't feel too bad, just because it's a 1/4 ward, which is like just annoying enough that like it'll stop most like aggro strategies or give you an extra turn essentially. So it should like quote unquote like heal you a little bit. But I think everything else you've kind of hit it on the money for the most part. I think like later in the game you kind of like feel bad drawing this, playing this, and if you whiff also it just feels miserable. So like the deck building side of it really matters on like how good this card's going to pay off for you. But I'm not super hype on this card at all.
I also don't love it because it's another low to the ground card that doesn't really, it has like anti synergy with PDK in a way.
Yeah.
It only searches for the big guys, and then like if you have this in your hand in Garyu, you have to play this to find a Garyu target and then play Garyu and then evolve it. So it's like, I don't know. I'm not
Yeah.
loving it, but I think the stat line is workable, as you said. I'll be nice. I'm gonna give it a D plus.
I'm gonna give it a D as well. I mean, I agree with a lot of what you guys said. My thing is just the cards in Dragon and the good strategies that aren't Garyu don't involve playing a lot of hits for this, right? Like in most decks that I think you're gonna see at a tournament, Marwyn's gonna be the only card this could ever hit, which like just makes it really weak. This is
Marwyn, sorry, Marwyn's a Haven card, right?
Or Marwyn, not Marwyn. What's the payoff for Disdain? The 5 mana.
Galmu. Yeah.
Galmi. I don't know the name. Sorry, you don't start reviewing me. I'll never say the name of a card correctly outside of the first time I read it. Like this card we just read, Aquasquare, I'm gonna call like, what is that, Fish Soldier guy?
All right, we'll move on here.
Yeah. I feel like I like in control, neutral, tons of whiffs. In Disdain, tons of whiffs. In PDK, no targets. In Garyu, it's like that deck seems so fake. So I don't even
in Garyu, like 2 turns after your Garyu turn, you can then refill and get.
Yeah, right. Okay, sure. You know what? You're right. I'm giving it back. I'll take the plus away.
Oh man! All right, we'll move on here. Shepard.
Cool. This is a Sword Whip Dragoon. This is a 2-cost follower. It's got fanfare. Select up to 2 enemy followers on the field and do 2 damage divided among them. If Overflow is active for you, deal 4 damage instead, and it's a 1/1.
God, the stats.
It's
the
the
effect.
one.
I mean, I see what they're going for, right? You play this in PDK, you take them down from like 3 health to 2 health, and the PDK finishes them off or whatever with the proc of the Sword Whip. But just the stats and the fact that I don't think that this is a thing that Dragon really needs help with, like, little bits of chip on 2 guys. I don't know.
Yeah, I think the problem is 1/1. Like it's so understated.
Yeah, it's really understated.
It's barely in PDK. It's barely even worth like taking up 20% of your board.
Yeah, I don't love it.
The stat line is definitely the worst part about this card. I think this card is like maybe it could find a place if maybe the game gets too aggressive and there's too many low to the ground, like you're just hitting a bunch of guys dropping goblins on you. This coming down, taking care of 2 goblins on turn 2, going second if your opponent plays 3 goblins.
It does take care of 2 goblins on turn 2. It does 2 damage divided among 2 enemy followers.
I misread this completely.
It does kill goblin, and as goblin,
it kills 1 goblin.
Yeah, you can just be playing Fina. No, you can just play Fina instead.
No. Giving it a C-. It kills the best card in the game, guys.
Okay, I feel like this is super trash now. I misread this completely. I was like, 2 damage, like onto 2 things? That's pretty sick.
No,
it's not.
Okay. No. All right. I'm very disappointed in this card.
I'm giving it a D9 minus, and that's like being nice, I think.
I don't think this card is an F just because I do think it will kill something, but I never want to put this in my deck.
Yeah.
All right, next card here.
Great open 8 card. Even that is not that good. Let's hope. All
right. Dragon Blader, 4-drop 5/5, evolves for 1. Fanfare, each player puts a dragon token into their EX area. Evolve. On evolve, select a card in your EX area and banish it. And then Dragon Heart is the trait. And it's a 6/6 on evolve. This is just like a really.
I don't know why you would ever play this over Erd.
Yeah, exactly. This is just like the Erd at home that's just even infinitely worse than Erd.
Why would you ever play this over Erd? Is there a single reason? I don't think so.
Yeah.
This card is pretty unplayable. It doesn't do anything.
Well, bye.
Sorry, Dragon Blader, we tried our best and we couldn't get there for you.
It's like if you're really, really running like EX area hate, you could play this and Erd and Transmogrified Worm, but then you're just weird and you should not be playing.
Oh man,
you're in a weird headspace. Please go home, seek some help, maybe eat some ice cream.
It's okay. I can't wait for like a couple weeks after release and someone breaks this card and we're like, wow. No.
That's the thing. There's always the risk in a card review.
Wait,
where you're like, you put it out there and then somebody like tosses it just to spite you.
I figured it out. You play this card to make you to turn off your opponent's Knight's Way because they have a
Whoa.
dragon.
Oh my god, so big brain there.
That's crazy.
I'll go ahead and let you have that one, Shepard. We'll move on here. I think Igni here.
Oh, that's me. Trident Merman. Fanfare summon 2 Mega Lorca tokens, and that's it. So it's I mean, hey, it's an 8/8 on turn 5. You know, you can't. You know.
You can tell he's a Shadowverse ambassador because he's the first person to ever pronounce that token name correctly.
Mega Lorca? That's a real word, I think. Wait, no, is it fake? It's fake. You're so right. It's fake.
Oh man.
Yeah.
I am not impressed.
Yeah,
I think I'd rather put this in than some of the other Gar.
I don't love it. You do summon it off of Guardian and get a bunch of guys, and they all get ward. And that's pretty cool.
Cool with PDK, I guess.
I don't know, man. You could play a meme deck where you play Neptune to give your Megalorca Storm, and then you play Trident Merman.
Oh my god, we're reaching very low on the totem pole here to find.
Listen, you gotta look on the bright side sometimes.
You're right. We need to stop being so pessimistic.
Anyway,
But
I'm gonna give it F smiley face instead of F frowny face.
I'm gonna give it D-.
I'll give it F plus. You guys convinced me.
I'd like to say F smiley face is not F plus.
All right, moving on here, Shepard.
All right, next up, what's this guy cooking? It's the Dragon Chef. It's a 3-cost, 3/4 follower with Fanfare. Give your leader +2 defense. If there's an amulet on your field, give your leader +4 defense instead. Of course, Dragon, famous for its amulet synergy.
Well, to be fair, a lot of Dragon decks are playing Dragon Nest right now, and that's an amulet. And you can choose when to pop it, too. You know what? I don't think it's great, but I actually don't hate it.
I mean, yeah, I think there's a lot more offensive cards that they've printed. I mean, it's a 3/4 for 3, which is okay. It heals you a little bit.
Triggers PDK.
They're like a lot of times right now, doing something on 3 that's not putting a big threat on the board or answering your opponent's threat is really scary, especially because this set's going to be fairy meta.
Yeah, that's true. But I feel like in super controlling Dragon decks that run like you can put like a 1 of Night's Way, 3 of Dragon Nest, so you do have hits for this. And even if you don't hit the full effect, it's still not super bad. Like 3/3/4 that heals too.
Yeah, I think this is for sure like a maybe a D plus. Like I don't think it quite gets to C.
I'm gonna give it a C-. I think. I think it's like at least a tier above all the other unplayable trash we just saw in like quick succession.
That's true. I think I'm trying to fight that bias right now because compared to the rest of Dragon in this set, this card looks so good.
No, that's true.
All right, I'm going against the grain here and by giving it a C only because I like that it has some synergy with PDK. We are playing the amulet, like you said, as well. A little extra here, heal in like PDK and stuff, not bad at all. And I love the art of this card. I want a Dragon Chef myself.
Wait, but you're not playing Dragon's Nest in PDK.
You do play it occasionally. Well, actually, these were older builds. Maybe now it's been pushed out, but minor healing is still like relatively worthwhile.
I mean, for like full control stuff, it's either this or Sybil, I guess. And I guess it's worse than Sybil. So maybe
Sybil's a pretty good card. Like, I think Sybil makes this card look real bad.
So you got a point. I'm gonna give it 2-.
Oh, beautiful.
All right,
good.
All right, last card here, Flame Winged Might. It's a 1-drop spell. Select a flower on the field and give it +2 attack. Phoenix trait.
God, I wish we lived in a world where this card could be good, but
Shipping with triple S. You're right. It makes your Forte's hit for 10.
Best card in the game. Unbeatable.
Here's the thing, it doesn't cycle. You draw this in the mid to late, it's a brick. You get it early, it's a heavier play point investment as a percentage of your current total. And like I feel like it's really only good on Forte. Right? Can we stop tripping?
Yeah.
God, I wish we lived in a world where this is good. Maybe it had like on overflow do something and like draw a card or something, it would be nice. But
This is one of the worst cards they've ever printed.
it's straight up like not worth the slot. It's like I don't think you ever play this ever. Yeah.
It's playing this card is like, honestly, if you draw this card, most turns you'll be better off not playing it, because then you're down a play point.
Yeah. Oh
Well,
man.
I too am giving it an F minus, and I will also change my Phoenix Empress also to an F minus. Looking back on it, because I really think that card is bad.
It is
that's
pretty bad.
Lock it in.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing here is, like you said, you drop this on Forte, and that's like about it. You pay 1 for 2 extra damage, swinging in for 9 instead. Top deck is a horrible card, etc. You guys
know
all
what?
did.
I gotta show you guys a card from Digital that I think would make you lose your mind, because it was actually good back in the day when aggro, like more aggressive dragon strategies were a thing. Where can I drop that? Can I drop that in the voice chat channel?
Yeah, just drop it in the voice chat channel. I'll put it on.
Okay, take a look at this card, and it's from the digital game, obviously, so it is different. But like, read this and then read the one you just saw back to back.
Shadowverse of all
rearing.
players. Shadowverse of all players. Try to guess how good Shadowverse cards are.
Oh my gosh. Dragon Rearing, give +1/+1 to an allied dragon follower for 1 play point. If Overflow is active for you, give +2/+2 instead and draw a card.
Yeah, I can I have this card instead? This is
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm glad they didn't print this one, guys. Like,
that one is nuts.
Oh my god.
Well, I just reading Flame Winged Might made me think of that, and I'm like, damn, things are different around here, man. It's like a different neighborhood. I don't go here.
Exactly. All right, that wraps up the Dragoncraft review here. I have some socials on here if you guys want to follow us on X or Twitter, whatever people are calling it nowadays. There it is. Message Igni, tell him thank you for joining us here, because I really appreciate it. So, hit him up. Also check out his channel as well. You're doing a Vanguard channel, I believe. We do have a lot of Vanguard people that came over to Shadowverse, so check out Igni's new Vanguard channel. What was it called again? I remember you tweeting about it, but
Twin
I don't remember.
Drive.
That's right. Check out Twin Drive. I'll include that also in the more section or in the comments below. So make sure to check that out if you're a Vanguard or interested in Vanguard, or just like Igni in general, because he's a great guy.
Oh, thank you.
Other than that, I guess we'll be seeing you guys in the next video. Later, everyone.
Make sure to like and subscribe. You got to tell them that.
Oh,
Like,
you're right. You're right. You guys,
the people who do it by a lot.
If you find a card we rated low in a top 8 in the next month, comment it below. Comment it 3 times. Tell us how wrong we are.
DM at KitoriJP on Twitter how wrong he was.
Oh my god.
Personally, Venmo you $5. No.
Okay, I don't think I'm
Paul
going
is
that
making
far.
random promises now.
Oh no, please! I gotta get out of
other
here.
people's money.
Yeah. All right, I'm ending it here, guys. Later, everyone.
Later.